In the Christian tradition, Good Friday is an important day in the religious calendar and a crucial chapter in the story of Easter. The Eighth Day Center for Justice created the Good Friday Walk for Justice, an annual event that combined the traditions of this day with modern social justice concerns. In this video, we will take a look at the photographs and documents from the Eighth Day collection at the WLA. These records document the event's 40-year history of championing Christian values and demonstrating the Chicago community's commitment to justice and peace. The Eighth Day Center for Justice was founded in 1974 by 6 Catholic religious communities who shared a desire to shape the world by taking action for peace and justice. Members of the Eighth Day brought together religious communities and other organizations to increase awareness and involvement with various social justice initiatives. In 1981, the nonprofit organization created the Good Friday Walk for Justice in Chicago, Illinois, an event that combined faith, community, and action against injustice. The annual event is based on the Christian tradition of the Stations of the Cross. In this tradition, participants reenact the walk Jesus Christ took before his crucifixion, and the events along the way as described in the Bible. At each of the 14 stations, participants take time to pray and reflect upon their life and faith. The story of Good Friday focuses on the suffering endured by Christ in order to save others, and leads up to the hopeful story of the resurrection on Easter. The Good Friday Walk for Justice invited people to go beyond reflecting on the suffering of Christ and reflect upon the suffering of men and women in their own communities and around the world. The first walk took place on April 17, 1981. Over 400 participants gathered in downtown Chicago to join the procession. The route, themes, and prayers for many stations of the walk are described in the programs distributed at the walk. Each stop along the way was located at a foreign consulate, bank, government building, or corporate office, which represented a particular human rights issue or oppressed group of people. A co-sponsoring organization led participants in a short presentation or prayer at each station. Assigning a current issue to each station allowed participants to connect with those around the world and humanizes their struggles through communal prayer. Christ and his people are suffering today at the hands of oppressive governments and institutions, one organizer is quoted as saying in a news article about the inaugural event. Participants in the first few years of the walk grappled with highly emotional issues, including the death penalty, the treatment of refugees and undocumented immigrants, the AIDS crisis, and the plight of citizens in countries experiencing political and social revolutions. Emphasis was placed on American privilege and what organizers saw as the harmful role U.S. foreign policy and the Reagan administration played in many struggles overseas. Attendance at the Good Friday Walk for Justice increased from 400 participants to 700 in its first 4 years. Planning records show the growing number and diversity of co-sponsoring organizations and the increased financial support that allowed the walk to flourish. The focus of each year's events reflected the current events and social concerns of the time. In evaluations saved in the Eighth Day collection, participants praised the energy and effectiveness of the event and offered suggestions of topics and practical adjustments to make future walks even more engaging. The Eighth Day Center for Justice closed in 2018. However, former members and supporters created the Good Friday Walk for Justice Committee and continued the valued event. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Walk for Justice celebrated its 40th year with its first virtual event in 2020. As seen in the 2021 program shared on the Walk for Justice website, that year's walk focused on rising up from marginalized communities and rolling away the stones of inequality. The causes and prayers this year centered around survivors of police brutality, climate change, the LGBTQ+ community, and the financial inequality escalated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Eighth Day Center for Justice envisioned what they describe as right relationships in which all creation and encounters are viewed as interconnected. Guided by their faith in this mission, the organization led the Chicago community in reflecting together on the suffering of others and hoped to inspire each other to be part of the solution. Even after the closing of Eighth Day, the Good Friday Walk for Justice continues to adapt its format and focus to reflect the changing world. View the link in the description to view the finding aid for the Eighth Day Center for Justice records and learn more about the organization's impact.